Hey there, hello. It is the FOX6 Sports Blitz. First one out in the month of September. There will be some pretty big ones as we roll along. That doesn't minimize tonight's at all. Lily Zhao is with me, of course. Tim Van Born here. Brandon Cruz has the Labor Day holiday weekend off. Let's show you what we have coming up. This is what's on. Packers getting ready to pack and wing it way south. They hope they aren't kicking themselves about a big personnel decision. Back home and home run robberies for the Brewers. Badgers barely bucked the Broncos, and our high school hotshot is right on target. So all of this should be pretty fun.
It comes down to adjustments. You're going to have to adjust week one. At some point within the game, you're going to have to adjust. And whoever can typically do that better will probably win the game.
Matt LaFleur right there up in Green Bay today. It was kind of weird to be in Green Bay on a Sunday looking at the Packers, but they weren't playing anybody. They were practicing. This week's a little off because they'll leave at midweek, get down to Brazil, play the Philadelphia Eagles. Simple question. Are you ready for regular season football?
It's crazy that it's here, right? But we've talked about it all offseason, right? We had the draft, we had the offseason, we had camp, and now we're finally here at the precipice of Packers football being back in 2024. I'm really excited to see the Packers kick off. And again, it's just, again, very fun to see the opponent that they open up with, the Eagles, who will be again in the conversation to make the playoffs, and rightfully so, behind Jalen Hurts. And then you get to play in Brazil, so it's the logistical travel of getting out there for week one on a Friday night, no less. So just kind of a lot of variables for the Packers to open up their season. And Jordan Love, again, all eyes will be on him to see how he performs. Again, got that big contract in the offseason, Tim. But I think Packers fans want to see, hey, this is our guy. Let's start the year off with a bang with him.
Well, you mentioned Jalen Hurts. Obviously, he's had playoff success with the Eagles, basically the same point in his career as Jordan Love. Started earlier, but they both have big contract extensions now. The expectations go up with that. I thought we saw that with Hurts. The expectations go up. Suddenly, what you did in the past doesn't matter quite as much. Jordan Love will face that this year.
Certainly, and it's what can you do for me now, right? Mm-hmm. And what Packers fans want him to do is win them a lot of games. I think what they do, if they can beat the Eagles, on the road, so to speak, in week one, will kind of do dividends when they do come back for their home opener against Indy in week two.
The big thing Jordan Love excelled at last year was really limiting those turnovers over the second half of the season after having a bit of a turnover problem in the first part of the season. That's critical NFL football. See if Jordan Love can maintain that type of ratio. He certainly has a lot of weapons to look at on the outside with those wide receivers. It's been well documented, but you cannot talk about this Packer football team without saying, well, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy should be good. That's an embarrassment of riches.
It really is, and I think the Packers brass had a tough time kind of narrowing down how many receivers can we feasibly keep on a 53-man roster, and it came down to 6 guys. And so, they do lose Grant DeBose, who gets picked up by Miami, but when you look at this talented receivers room, it really could be anyone can be number one, right? I think Matt LaFleur was kind of asked that question. He says, I want to vomit every time somebody says, is there a top receiver with the Packers? Because everybody really could turn into one. So Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed. I mean, they have a plenty of riches at that position, and it's going to be really fun to see how Jordan Love distributes the football. But again, the key for this team is everybody is a playmaker, even their tight ends. So who does he throw the football to? And that's the kind of the big question for defenses around the league.
I was asking Jaden Reed today about some of this offensive stuff. He was also asked what's the potential for the out the roof. I'm going to remember that. Out the roof. All right, we heard that prior to the start of the season here from Jaden Reed. And one other guy you have to think about on that offense is going to be Josh Jacobs. He's going to have the ball a lot.
He really will. And that's why the Packers brought him in, right? You lose Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon starts the year and is done for the year. He's on IR. So you're going to rely heavily on Josh Jacobs, a veteran, came from the Raiders, to produce for this Packers football team. And he's going to be playing behind a talented offensive line in Green Bay. So what can he do, right? What can he do as the number one tailback in Green Bay? I think what he's going to be able to do with his passing game as well, that's going to certainly help the offense. And he's talked about, he thinks this offense can really go through the roof too. So there's going to be a lot of expectation on this team, but I think also a lot of expectation on the special teams unit, Tim, because all eyes also going to be on their kicker.
Well, Anders Carlson is out the team, and now we're looking at Braden Narveson, who's in. And if all these offensive guys get you to the red zone but don't get you to the end zone, it's going to be time to make a field goal. Braden Narveson is going to wear number 44, undrafted rookie, went to the Titans. That was the only team interested in signing him, is what he said, coming out of college. And now he's the Green Bay regular season kicker. He handles himself pretty well, though, when asked questions about the magnitude of what's in front of him.
It's a dream. I'm going to take it one day at a time. I'm going to do everything in my power to get 1% better day after day after day. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go out there and try to make kicks. And that's my job. That's what I get paid to do. And so that's what I'm going to do.
Does it come with pressure?
Yeah, everything does. And if somebody tells you they're not nervous, there's no pressure. They're lying to you or they don't care, in my opinion. I think there's always pressure. Pressure is a privilege, in my opinion. Pressure means that you've done the right things at the right time to show everybody how hard you've worked. That's how I feel about it.
You almost sense Packer fans want to like this guy, really want to like this guy. So we'll see. I think Anders Carlson will surface somewhere again in the NFL. But you trade one young guy for a different one. And you have a defense that doesn't get talked about a lot, Lily, but might be the key to the whole season.
I agree, right? I think every year it's, okay, the Packers have an offense. They have somewhat of a special teams unit, but what about their defense? And I think it's been a long time since they've really truly have had a championship defense. So, again, they're going to come in with a lot of expectations as well behind Jeff Hafley, their new defensive coordinator, and that scheme. You know, he's talking about attacking the quarterback, pressuring guys, and going after the football. Can they execute it, especially to start the season against the Eagles, which will be a tough out for them? So I think a lot of eyeballs will be on the defense to see how they perform, if they can get after the quarterback and create that pressure, because I think if that defense is playing well, it's going to be a very well-oiled machine in Green Bay.
All right, the Packers get it going Friday night against the Eagles. New manager for the Milwaukee Brewers as we switch over to baseball. And look what he has done this season, getting this team into position, leading the division as we get to September. Unbelievable position. Now, obviously, they want to do something with it. Lily, a 5-2 week. The MLB.com has power rankings. Brewers are now into the top 4 in Major League Baseball entering this week, and they just continue to raise eyebrows, really. I think that's the word around the major leagues.
I certainly do. And the fact that this team is finding ways to win, right? They're, a 5-2 week makes sense. And that's why they're still a game back of the Phillies for that number 2 seed in the National League standing. So they're still right there, right, with the Dodgers and Phillies, because those top 2 seeds get that coveted bye. So they want that. And what they were able to do this week is almost complete a sweep of the Reds, winning 3 of 4. So it was nice to see their offense get back on track. Willy Adames obviously a big part of that as well. But they continue to surprise because the arms that they throw out there, those guys are putting in consistent and deep innings as well. But the offense is just finding ways to win. And so when all that is clicking and you're kind of playing the traditional Pat Murphy small ball as well, they're just finding ways to win, like you mentioned.
The pitching staff seems to have really leveled out, and you have some guys at the minor league level who have shown they can come up and contribute. And at times you need somebody to just carry that offense. It's been Willy Adames of late. It has been various different players over the course of the season. Defensively, Blake Perkins stands alone as far as I'm concerned in terms of robbing home runs. He had a couple of big robberies this week. And that is such an intangible play. Yes, you're taking runs off the board for the other team, but it just galvanizes your side.
It really does. And he had 2 this week alone, and he's had 5 this season. But what you're watching Blake Perkins do is, the one that he robbed yesterday, that would have given the Reds the lead, and that might have given Cincinnati the win, right? But he just climbs the wall in center field, robs that one. So what he's been able to do in that center field position has been kind of a revelation for him. And I know he wants to get the bat going, but what he's been able to do defensively has kept him consistently in the lineup, and robbing home run balls like that certainly helps.
It was Craig Counsell who brought up the run prevention idea. Pat Murphy has obviously carried along, and it's what the Brewers have been doing with some of this defense. Bryce Terang has contributed. Jackson Churrio's speed. You see that in the outfield. Jake Bowers with a couple of big plays this week. But the pitching staff keeps you in games or doesn't. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. And as I talked about this, the staff seems to be leveling out a little bit in terms of the way the starters are able to approach these games.
Right. You have an Aaron Savali. Freddie Peralta really turned into form this week as well. Colin Ray. I mean, guys are, again, going deep in innings. You see Savali there pitching well earlier in the week. So that's what you want, right? Especially when your bullpen is going to get taxed. It's a long season. We're kind of nearing the end of the regular season. You want to give your bullpen as much time off per se as you can with those arms. You want your pitchers going into the 6th and 7th innings, and that's what these guys are doing consistently. And so that certainly helps, right? I mean, you played a Reds team yesterday that was in a bullpen game. Brewers, of course, didn't have that. They had a starting pitcher out there. So they have these arms, and they're certainly pitching well, but that's what they're going to need, especially when it comes to playoff time.
And they got those big innings from DL Hall coming off a bullpen game, a full bullpen use game in Cincinnati. It's exactly the right balance you want on this Brewers team. The magic number's going down. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're undoubtedly, it certainly looks like they're going to win the division. Would you take your foot off the gas? It's a crazy notion.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think at this point you want to just keep playing Brewers baseball and not take your foot off the gas because, we can talk about, if you clinch this, you clinch that, you give some guys some time off. But I feel like with this young group, they want to keep playing. I mean, I think I read a quote about Jackson Chourio saying everybody's kind of contributing one grain of sand at a time for this team, which is why they're able to find ways to win. But I think the Brewers don't want to take their foot off the gas because there's a stretch coming up in the season where they take on the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, back to the Diamondbacks, and those two teams are contending right now. So you don't want to slip up too much, especially if that's a tough week for the Brewers. And they're going to want Jackson Chourio, who dinged the scoreboard early in the week, to also play well.
That's what we're looking at. If you didn't catch, he hit a monster home run, 449 feet or something like that, up there off the scoreboard. It knocked out one of those panels. And the Brewers, they're having fun with everything now, as opposed to, what happened to our scoreboard? Hey, let's embrace it. Let's show where he hit the ball. And here's Chourio kind of celebrating. There's the scoreboard panel with him in the clubhouse. There have been a lot of clubhouse celebration shots for various reasons this season.
Yeah, and that's been fun to watch, right? And it kind of encapsulates what a fun year this is under Pat Murphy.
Yeah, Pat Murphy, he's really in line here to win National League Manager of the Year. How could he not? But you are right. It probably will tighten a little bit here because of the schedule, because of these other teams really making a push to get in. So the Brewers might want to go for a little breath here as they try to go down the stretch.
Yeah, certainly so. And the Cubs, they're still on a win streak right now too, so you can't let off your foot just yet. There's still plenty of games to go where things could shift if the Brewers start losing a couple.
All right, we talked the green and gold, we talked the Brewers. Let's talk about red, a sea of red taking over Fiserv Forum today. The third-ranked Wisconsin women's volleyball team in there. That means a lot of Badgers support, of course. Top-ranked Texas is the opposition. It's a rematch of last season's national semifinals matchup. What a showcase of talent right here in town. Badgers do take set 2, but the Longhorns would go on to win 3-1. Wisconsin is back at Fiserv, taking on 5th-ranked Stanford tomorrow. The telecasts have been really well produced. Everything's looking good down there, sharp stuff. It's right here on Fox 6 again tomorrow, so that's fun. You know what else is on Fox 6? More of the Blitz after this.
Do I vote? I don't even know if I vote for.
You really want to ask that question out of the gate?
I just like getting people's attention with something.
My significant other thinks it's sexy, so.
Wow. That was interesting. Was that Taylor Swift? Come on. We got people walking in here late. Now we got alarms going off. What are we doing? I know, we should. Oh, can you do 20 push-ups? Okay.
Welcome back to the Fox 6 Sports Blitz. I'd say safe to say, don't have your phone go off when Matt LaFleur is talking.
It's been a slow burn there for the coach in the offseason.
Yeah, I think Luke Fickell might feel the same, right, with his players. But speaking of the Badgers, though, they kick off their season at home, a Friday night game against a MAC opponent. They're 24-point favorites, Tim, and they kind of had to wait until the fourth quarter to beat Western Michigan. So I think a lot was talked about this air raid offense and what Tyler Van Dyke would look like, but it didn't really look as advertised, especially in week 1.
They were trailing in the fourth quarter against Western Michigan, really, and Van Dyke's stats ultimately turned out being great. Not great, they turned out being okay. I'm going to put air raid up there as the biggest misnomer in Wisconsin recent sports history. I mean, a year plus now, it doesn't apply at all. But they won the game. And you look around, there are a lot of other teams that kind of had to get past somebody in the first week. And so Wisconsin is 1-0. That was the ultimate goal here. They got past, and they should get past another opponent this weekend before the schedule really toughens.
It really does. And I do kind of wonder, are they holding stuff back for Alabama, who comes to town in week 3? Or is it just what it is offensively? It might be the latter.
I think it's the latter. Based on what you saw out there, it doesn't look like there's more in the arsenal.
True, but maybe there's more in the arsenal for the running back tandem, right? Ches Malusi, Tyree Walker, those guys had a touchdown each. So the ground game is getting going. Of course, Badgers known for producing some good running backs, but at least that was productive.
And Luke Fickell is not a guy who's going to panic. I think Badger fans have been looking for more, though, and they're looking for more progress. You don't play to the grandstand, but you have to show some progress as you continue to go forward here. The quarterback position is critical.
Yeah, it really is, and so we'll see how they develop again. They do take on South Dakota at home. on Saturday. So we'll see if the Badgers can improve there because, again, like we mentioned, Bama coming to town week 3. That game will be on Fox 6. It'll be fun to watch. But another, event coming to town, IndyCar, their first time at the Milwaukee Mile since 2015. And Tim, you were there for the first race of their doubleheader on Saturday, and it was nice to have him back, huh?
Oh, outstanding. And, this isn't, the week after Indy in the mid-'90s and everybody's out there in the corporate sponsorship. The world has changed. The sponsorship world has changed. But these guys come back. That was a good show this weekend, no question about it. Saturday night, Sunday, good crowds on both. The grandstand filled in even more than this as you looked at it on Saturday night as the sun started to set and people got their way up into the grandstand. So good racing. The drivers really like it. The team seem to enjoy being here again. Milwaukee's back on the circuit for next year. A one-race date, though, not a doubleheader, and a little bit earlier in August.
And, of course, the broadcast for those games next year will switch from NBC to Fox, so all racing fans next year will be able to watch all 17 of those IndyCar races right here on Fox 6. So great for us here on Fox 6, of course, and, of course, for the sport. And then coming to Milwaukee and the Milwaukee Mile. So fun to see how this gets even bigger next year in 2025. And we're going to have some more fun on the Fox 6 Sports Blitz as well. The High School Hot Shot coming up next. Welcome back. The sport was a family pastime for this junior. It helped her realize a dream which eventually led her to compete on a national stage. Here's this week's Fox 6 High School Hot Shot.
My name is Michaela Conley. I'm a junior at Hartford High School and I enjoy doing the sport archery.
They are 17.9.
Okay. My grandpa introduced me. There was like a kids' day here at the Huracan Marsh Archers Club, and it was just introducing kids and teach them how to hold a bow. After that, I really enjoyed it, and when I was old enough, I joined the Dodge County Shooting Sports Project through 4-H. I've seen like the Hunger Games and like Brave. I knew I want to shoot a bow like them. So I had to be one of the top 10 people in Wisconsin to qualify for the compound archery. It was about a month before I heard back, and I was at school and Mom told me look on my email or website, and I saw that I made it. I was so happy. I got 84th overall. I'm pretty happy because I definitely felt I was going to do way worse. I'm very proud because you can only go nationals once for your discipline. So this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and after I'm 18, I could never qualify again. So for 4-H, I do the photography, foods, archery, scale models, showing dairy cattle.
After that, you love the wood that she's got all the way through. Give them a big round of applause. Congratulations to them.
I used to do Legos, and I used to do home environment and art. And then I'm in the Hartford FFA, so I'm the historian for 4-H. I'm currently the secretary. My name is Michaela Conley. I'm a junior at Hartford High School, and I was on the 4-H Shooting Sports National Team for archery. I'm this week's Fox 6 High School Hot Shot.
It looks like Michaela does everything, but she says she does not plan to pursue competitive archery after 4-H, but she'll continue to hone her skills with the Huracan Marsh Archers Club. Meanwhile, our Fox 6 High School Blitz this week will be a good one, and I'll be at Horlick Field as Racine Horlick takes on Racine Park in a historic 100th meeting between the two teams. That's going to be our game of the week. It's going to be really fun, so tune in on Fox 6 News at 10 on Friday night with Brandon Cruz for all of our other games. We'll be right back.
Looking ahead, Passport's Portuguese Packers.
Oh my gosh, Packers football, it's back, Tim. Friday night in Brazil, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Jordan Love and the Packers hoping to start 1-0 this season. It'll be fun.
Football in Madison coming up on Saturday afternoon. Badgers against the South Dakota Coyotes.
Brewers also trying to win some games this week. They're going to take on the Cardinals to start off. They get Thursday off, and they take on the Rockies. 6-game homestand for the Brew Crew.
Yeah, Cardinals in September. That used to mean so much. Probably thought it was going to mean more this season. And the Brewers have just pulled away from the rest of that division. There's also volleyball downtown tomorrow. Couple of games. The Wisconsin game against Stanford is right here on Fox 6. So that continues, and the showcase for those teams. Really great stuff right here in Milwaukee. As you said, Road America, earlier this season, and the Milwaukee Mile this week, too. It's great stuff.
Yeah, a lot of sports coming to town, and we're going to get rolling.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Enjoy your Labor Day holiday for sure. Appreciate you spending time with us, too.